Hello everyone, Steven here from Redolessence, and welcome back to another fragrance review. This time we'll be taking a look at a fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent, and the fragrance is called Homme. Here is the bottle, really nice looking bottle. It actually has a pretty decent weight to it. The cap is heavy, so is the bottle. This fragrance was released in 2006, so 8 years ago now. And the perfumers for this fragrance, it was actually a three-way collaboration, and they are Anfilippo, Dominique Ropion, and Pierre Warnier. I really hope I'm pronouncing all three of those correctly. So those three perfumers have collaborated in the past, sometimes two of them, sometimes all three of them, and they've collaborated on fragrances, many of which are flankers of L'Homme, and they include La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent and even L'Homme Sport by Yves Saint Laurent. As a consumer, please be cautious and conscious of the fact that there are several different versions of this fragrance out there. There are several different flankers of this fragrance out there. So of course, exceeding the popularity of a designer fragrance like L'Homme, they would release many fragrances, many other different versions of it, and even some limited edition versions which smell exactly the same. So if you are looking to purchase the original L'Homme, just please make sure it says nothing more than L'Homme on the box, or you will be getting a different fragrance. The other versions include La Nuit de l'Homme, L'Homme Sport, L'Homme Parfum Intense, L'Homme Libre, L'Homme Cologne Gingembre, and the list goes on and on. The limited edition versions, on the other hand, they do smell exactly the same, except they have some nice artwork on the bottles. So if you want, a bottle that looks nicer, probably look nicer on your shelf, you may opt to go for the limited edition versions. Lastly, this fragrance is classified as a woody floral musk, despite the fact that musk is not listed as a note in the official note breakdown, and the only floral really that's listed in the note breakdown is violet. So I'm going to let you know what I think of the smell. Next up, let's take a look at the presentation. The box for Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme has a lot of detail to it. Even though everything is flush, nothing is embossed or stands out. But over here on the side, you can kind of tell it has this intricate pattern into it. It almost looks like a thumbprint or a fingerprint. You have the logo here in the front and on the top, name of the fragrance, name of the house, UPC code at the bottom with the serial number right below that. Ingredients at the back, and that's pretty much it for the box. As far as the bottle goes, really beautiful looking bottle. It is a magnet to fingerprints though, but despite that, it actually looks really nice. Same information here in the front, sticker at the bottom with some relevant information. You have the YSL logo engraved into the cap. It's a hexagonal cap. Yes, hexagonal cap. Comes off, it actually is very heavy, clicks into place very securely. The sprayer for this one works very, very well. Great distribution. And that has pretty much been the presentation for Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme.
Yo, it's Mr. Vernon 437 coming at you with another collaboration review with Redolessence, and we are talking about YSL L'Homme. One word to describe this fragrance: versatile. Works in most situations. I wear this one mostly in spring and fall. Has the ginger notes. You get like a spicy apple, spicy pear vibe. I really enjoy wearing this one. It is definitely a compliment getter. My overall rating of this, A-. I really enjoy this one. Okay, back to your video.
My friend Robert says, I think that it's a classy designer fragrance that is pretty versatile. It performs well at work, casually, and even on a date. It provides average projection and lasts for upwards of 6 hours on skin. My friend Suvirna says, a contemporary classic, master blend of fresh and spicy citrus done perfectly well for any scenario. Not the best performer, but very polite and inoffensive. A signature scent-worthy fragrance and a must-have in every collection. My friend Jose says, a classy gem, fresh, energetic, and creamy. Most versatile fragrance I own in my collection right now. Dustin says, this is an all-season people-pleaser with moderate longevity and projection. Love to pair this one up with its darker brother. Ben says it's easy to wear as it will work well for all seasons and works for any social setting. I swear I get a nice apple note in it even though there is no apple in it. I'm actually wearing it today. And Kevin concludes by saying, one of the most pleasant and versatile fragrances available in the designer category. It's a nice ginger-based fragrance with a bright opening similar to cracking open a cold bottle of apple cider with hints of honey. I will have to echo many of the sentiments expressed by saying that this is indeed one of the most versatile fragrances that I have ever gotten my nose on. This is not only versatile in terms of seasons, but also in terms of occasions. You can wear this one dressed up, dressed down, casually, on a night out, to a date. Because of its universal appeal and how beloved it is by the masses, this is by far one of the most complimented scents in my entire collection, and I used to wear this to work almost every single day, and I have received many a compliment wearing this fragrance. Great scent. If and when I do run out of my bottle, I will make sure to replenish stock. So this fragrance greets you with a very bright, crisp, fresh, energetic, effervescent opening due to the note of bergamot. And it really comes across as a very fresh, fruity bergamot, which is unlike many that you would find in less expensive options at department stores or fragrance kiosks in the mall. This one opens up very bright, very clean, very fresh, but it also has a creaminess to it which is so alluring, and it really lures people in and really attracts their compliments. So you get this citrus opening, and despite the volatility of citrus notes, this one actually lingers for a while, and it meshes and blends in very well with the mid notes and even the base notes of this fragrance. I know it lists ginger as a note, it lists spices as a note, even a pinch of violet, which is not very similar to Dior's Fahrenheit, so if you think they're going to smell the same, they really don't. And I think that what the violet does in this fragrance is it adds a little bit of a masculine nuance, but not so much that it's too generic. You know, this one is very contemporary, and I'm actually quite astonished and shocked by the fact that this was released 8 years ago, because it smells so modern and so contemporary, and it just has a very youthful smell to it, which I think is another thing that really draws a lot of compliments out of this fragrance. So a lot of people have mentioned that they smell apple. Now, it could contain an aroma molecule that's also found in apples, and I definitely also get an apple nuance to this fragrance. There's another fragrance by Lacoste that I absolutely love, and it's composed by one of my favorite perfumers, who is Annick Menardo. The fragrance is called Lacoste Red, also known as Lacoste Style and Play. And that fragrance has a very apparent bright red apple note in the opening, and I think that the two fragrances really do bear some similarities, although they're not copies of each other. And once I made that connection, immediately I thought of apple too. So all these people can be wrong. And then you have spices in there. I think I pick up on a little bit of cinnamon, even though cinnamon is not listed as a note. And I think when you take that apple note that people smell, the spices, the ginger, the warmth that's brought forth in this composition, that makes this fragrance very evocative of the intermediate months. So the change of the seasons, not summer and not winter, but fall and spring. And I think that this would work really, really well in those seasons, but it could also be pulled off in the spring and, in the summer and in the winter as well. So you get this creaminess to it, and then as it starts to dry down, it does start to kind of go away a little bit. The citrus does eventually go away entirely, and then you're left with a slightly sweet, woody base. I think it's tonka bean or coumarin, or even possibly a little bit of vanilla, and that combined with the woodiness of the composition also leaves you with a fragrance that you're likely to get complimented on, even in the base, even in the dry down, the last stages of the progression of the fragrance. So this is one that's equally appealing in the opening as it is in the dry down, and I would have to say that this is a very non-linear fragrance. This is a great fragrance, one of the most versatile and one of the most complimented fragrances in my entire collection. My fiance love it, my coworkers love it. I will continue to wear this fragrance for a very long time, and you know what? I'm kind of happy that they're releasing many different versions of this fragrance, many different flankers. I think that due to its popularity, this is one that's worth it. Thank you for watching. Last up we have the rating. First up we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I ended up giving L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent a 10 out of 10. This is an amazing smell, one of the most complimented scents in my entire collection. Fixatives were used successfully in this fragrance. Even though it's an eau de toilette, it has eau de parfum performance on my skin. It's a unique blend of notes that has not been found in a fragrance preceding the release of this one. It's a non-linear fragrance which always keeps me on my toes. It's a great fragrance. I couldn't give it anything less than a 10 out of 10. It is a magnet to compliments. Next up we have longevity. I ended up giving this fragrance an 8 out of 10. Again, it is eau de toilette concentration, but I do get eau de parfum performance out of it. So I have gotten upwards of 8 hours, but I would say averages 6 to 8 hours. Expect to get somewhere within that range. Next up we have projection. Also gave it an 8 out of 10. Projection on this fragrance is way above average. I do get projection for about 3.5 to 4 hours, which is really good projection on my skin, especially considering I have dry skin. After that, it doesn't necessarily become a skin scent, but it does become a close encounter scent. so it radiates probably within an elbow's length or something like that. So if you're you know, in a close distance to the next person, you will definitely still get noticed, even in the you know, later development of this fragrance. Next up, we have versatility. I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. Again, like I said, it is one of the most versatile scents in my entire collection. However, it is marketed for men, and I don't think it's a unisex fragrance. Perhaps it's that violet leaf that gives it a little bit of a masculine nuance, but I don't think it's unisex. It could be worn any season. I would actually recommend the intermediate seasons. It could be worn by anybody of any age, from a teenager up to somebody in their mid-50s and 60s. There's never a bad time to smell amazing, and I think in terms of social scenarios, you can really wear it anywhere. Last up, we have the presentation. I already told you what I think about that. I ended up giving this one an 8 out of 10, and overall, I'm going to give L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent a 9 out of 10. I think that this is an amazing fragrance. I think it's a great blend of notes. I think it's a unique composition. Even 8 years later, it's still doing very, very well in the industry and in online fragrance communities. And personally, this is one of the best designer fragrances that I own, one of the best in my collection. Really happy to have it in my collection, and I will replenish stock if and when I do run out of this bottle. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos and frequent giveaways. Again, thank you very much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Adolescence. See you soon.